Oh, we are live. It's the shift. Oh my goodness. We are in a different spot again. Francisco's excited. We are live. Live from Daniel S. Frawley Stadium, the home of the Wilmington Blue Rocks. How about that, man?
Shout out to Dan.
How about
We're
that?
here. It's a beautiful ballpark. I haven't been here in a couple of years, and you know what? I'm a little upset at myself. I should have been here. It shouldn't have been 2 years. I should have been back here last year.
Should have came and visited me.
Yeah, what the heck? Well, I didn't know you.
Yeah, well,
what?
Towards the end. To the end of the season. Yeah. I was still here towards the end of the season. If you didn't know, I worked here. I was a broadcaster here for 2 seasons. Worked in the broadcast booth, variety of roles. So I know this place pretty well here in Wilmington, Delaware. But, man, you just feel baseball here, Francisco.
Absolutely.
It just feels like baseball here. Going to be a great game tonight. We're going to visit and we're going to see the Hudson Valley Renegades versus the Wilmington Blue Rocks. They're out on the field behind us right now.
We got some legends in the building as well. We've got
Crisp.
Coco Crisp.
One of the coaches of the Wilmington Blue Rocks helps out in their farm system.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And listen, it's going to be a great show. We have a lot in store. We'll also probably have an interview for you on a different episode, not in our normal show as we do here, with someone who works with the Wilmington Blue Rocks. So a lot of great stuff coming your way. But Francisco, it would be wrong of us not to talk about the trade deadline.
Of course, we have to.
It was
boring. Let's be real.
Boring.
It was a boring deadline. We're going to try to make this as fun as possible. There were a lot of trades, just not a lot of noteworthy ones. Let's be real. There weren't a lot of noteworthy trades this year. So, but we'll get to them. We're going to try to kind of, give you guys this year's winners and losers, but also maybe let's look at teams that a year from now will regret these trades or they're going to love them. Are these teams that get to the postseason, they're going to make a deep run? Are these teams not? Are these teams going to regret not going for a guy? The Yankees, Phillies going for a corner outfielder. I mean, both of those. Well, we're going to get into that. But a lot of things to talk about with the trade deadline. I still think there are.
It was boring. I can't lie. It was a boring deadline. It wasn't Verlander got traded. Yeah, Scherzer got traded. He was like before the day of the deadline, so it wasn't the excitement you were waiting for on deadline day.
Right.
But yeah, there wasn't fireworks as there have been in years past, and this year
shout out to the Dodgers a couple years ago,
and as well everything happened at 6 o'clock. How many trades came through at 6 o'clock? You're waiting there all day watching.
Did Flaherty come? Yeah. Did Flaherty the Orioles come down late?
I think it
that
did.
was one of the last ones. It was you're thinking it might be seized to the Orioles or something like that, and it wasn't. Look, Flaherty's he's been an elite pitcher in the past, so we'll get into it. But there, like you said, there just weren't a lot of
blockbuster.
There weren't blockbuster.
There wasn't blockbuster because there wasn't movement. There just wasn't movement. I feel like there was too many teams this year that think they're in it and they're not. There's too many things that think they're in it and they're not.
We'll talk about that.
I think there are.
I mean, who?
I'll give you the Padres.
You want to talk about
Padres. The Padres should not have been fired.
They're a game
should not have
They
been
have
fired.
so much talent. They're a game under 500 right now. Yeah, you go for it. Okay, it's not like they're the Mets who are 7 under 500, or maybe the Yankees should have sold.
The Cubs, another team. I don't think.
Yeah, the Cubs are a weird one.
They should have sold off.
Yeah, they did, but they got hot. They got hot, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna retrain. We're gonna retain Stroman. We're gonna retrain. We keep saying retrain.
Can you speak?
Retrain? Well, okay,
you're just too excited.
Cody Bellinger needed to be retrained.
I think you're just excited you're at Wilmington. You're excited you're at Wilmington.
Excited, of course.
Can't even get his words correct.
I mean, we were. I was I don't even know what wires I was putting in the camera or into the podcast.
We almost got stung by bees to do this show. I hope you know that. We almost died.
And my mother had to go to the ER before.
All right.
And now
all right.
Are you serious? I'm dead serious.
Are you serious?
How dare you disrespect my mother?
Are you serious?
How dare you disrespect my mother?
Goodness.
She, a couple of years ago, she does her yard work, and she shouldn't do as much as she does.
Oh, you mean years ago? I thought you were talking about just now.
No,
thought you were going to lie to
Is
the
that
people.
the rain, by the way? We have to have a rain delay on this podcast.
rain
I just
delay.
definitely felt either I spit on my arm. I definitely did. That's
I think
what
it was. I think it was the.
But I
the
feel
latter.
the rain in the air of the night, like Phil Collins. But no, my mother, she got stung by a bee while she was doing yard work, probably 2019, right before the pandemic started, and I had to take her to the ER. And now she has an EpiPen just in case something happens. Yeah, so
That's
you know,
bad.
I might have to spin kick a bee or something. All my
We gotta keep you away from the
all
bees
these mosh
too. We
moves
gotta
that
keep
I've
you away
learned.
from the
I
bees.
might have to.
I was closer to it though.
Yeah, and the one guy that was here, shout out to the guy who helped us. I'm sorry I don't know his name. Maybe we should have got his name, and maybe we will.
One of the workers here.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, he showed us like the outlet to use, and out come like 15 bees. It was a family of bees. I don't even know what you call a family of bees. So you got like a bundle of that's not even bundle of bananas. It's
Bundle of bees?
Finger of bananas.
Bundle of bees
It was a
sounds
finger
right.
of bees. Anyway,
Let's get
we
back on track.
almost got buzzed by some bees. Okay, whatever that means. Here's where I want to start, Nick. As we finally get here. Give me, and I'm going to give you my American League.
Got it.
My biggest American League trade for the deadline, or from the deadline, and you give me your National League. Do you want to rock, paper, scissors for who goes
You
first?
go first. I'll give you the floor.
All right.
I opened the show today, which doesn't usually happen.
I know. I'm
so-
sorry. You know what? On the way here, I thought about it, and I was like, I'd never ask him if he wants to do it. But I have in the past. He's like, "Oh, you do it. It's your show." I'm like, "No, it's our show. So don't do that."
A good guy.
It's our show. It's our show. So don't listen to this guy. Normally you don't listen to this guy anyway, but all right. So for the American League, I'm not going anything crazy here. I think when it comes to the Houston Astros, when you get somebody like Justin Verlander back, someone who has struggled with injury problems this year coming off the Cy Young, and even when he was healthy in the first part of the season wasn't all that great, it was pretty mediocre. When you don't have to pay that salary, when the Mets still have to pay his salary, I don't know if the Rangers have to pay Scherzer's salary, and the Rangers aren't too far behind the Astros, and we're going to talk about them too. Getting Verlander to help this rotation out. McCullers out for the year, right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think
Christian
you're right.
Javier
isn't what
Yep.
they expected him to be this year. Framber Valdez, obviously the complete opposite. He throws no hitter last night. Throws a Maddox. But Verlander in this rotation now comes back to Houston. And you get Kendall Graveman as well. Kendall Graveman, one of the better relievers in baseball. And now you get Yordan Alvarez back, and hopefully he stays healthy along with Altuve. It definitely is raining, but we're going to get through it. Hopefully just light rain. That's all it is, just light rain.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, right. We might need to bring the tarp out for the podcast.
Yeah,
but
we have to shift over to the
oh,
inside.
look what he did. He's got bars. So yeah, I would say as I'm moving up. See, I'm so excited. I'm like
I
moving
know.
up
You're moving-
towards.
you're going
I'm
right
here.
into the camera.
I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
I
Excited to be here with you. But
I'm
I
a
think
little excited to be here.
Ah, here we go. So I would say it's Verlander to the Astros. I know it's an obvious one, but the Astros are in a race with the Rangers. I don't know how concerned they are with winning the division. Of course you want to win the division. They're close. But they're a team that's trying to win back-to-back World Series now. That's what you do when you get Graveman. They did give up a couple of their prospects, but the Astros, according to Fangraphs, they have like the 30th ranked farm system. It's not like it used to be. So,
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
They can
and
go
they have
any
Jeremy
prospect.
Pena.
Yeah.
They've got Christian Javier's having a down year a
Yep.
little bit, but I would say easily it's the Astros
Okay.
with Verlander and Graveman.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I'm going to preview my winner a little bit in this trade.
Okay.
Josh Bell to the Marlins. Now, I know...
Just that one, or like the Marlins in general? Because
that's why I want to say. That's my
go
favorite
ahead.
trade, and that's why it's
I
going to
include
preview my
Graveman with
winner.
there. I include Graveman with the Astros. Yeah.
So I think the Marlins, what they did at the deadline, I thought it was really, really interesting. I know they just lost 3 or 4 to the Phillies. I don't
Thank
mind
you.
that.
We appreciate it.
Don't mind that.
We appreciate it.
But listen, though, the Marlins have trouble with runners in scoring position. They don't have a lot of power in their offense, in their lineup. So I got to go Josh Bell. I really like that move. They also brought in Jake Berger as well.
Yeah, Berger was a good one. Like all these moves,
Yeah.
David Robertson,
yes.
he hasn't been good. Thank
No.
you. We
So,
appreciate it.
But listen, they're making moves to make a wild card chase. So the Marlins, I think they added some more power, which is something that they have not had this year. They really haven't had. I believe they're like 27th in slugging or something along those lines. They're at the bottom of the barrel. So when you only have a guy like Jorge Soler, who's the only person really with power on this team, we know Arise, with all the base hits,
Right.
He's at the top of the lineup. Jazz Chisholm, I mean, he's more of a contactor. He's not going to give you a ton of power.
Right.
But when you add a guy like Josh Bell to this lineup, I think it makes them a little more dangerous on the offensive side. And he had a really good debut in his first game. So, a couple of RBIs.
By the way, Bell got traded last year at the deadline.
He
remember?
did. He went
San
to the
Diego?
Padres. Yeah. So now he leaves the Guardians and now comes to
Robertson,
Miami.
too. There's a couple of guys here that just are used to it.
Former Philly. So I like what the Marlins did. Robertson is what he is. He can give you some innings. I don't know why they keep using him in these high leverage situations in the ninth.
Closer for the Mets this year.
I know, but he's had a lot of trouble. I didn't trust him on the Phillies. I don't love him there. I like him as more of a seventh, eighth inning guy. That's just where I am with Robertson.
Yeah.
But I like the moves they made. I think the Marlins can make a push to the playoffs. They've had a really good season. They got some really good hitters on this team. Soler, Chisholm.
Chisholm can stay healthy.
Yeah, if he could stay on the field, they'll be good. Arise at the top of the lineup. It's a nice little team they got. They gave up some prospects, fine. Segura was having a down year, but they definitely upgraded. The Marlins are better than they were than they were before the deadline. Now after the deadline, they're better now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Props to you for your take. I actually agree with you to start.
Look at this.
Do you agree with me on the Astros?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the Astros...
Because the Rangers were close to me.
The Rangers definitely could have been one.
I just think the tipping point for me... And the Rangers did a good job. We're going to get into the Rangers. I want to save it. But the Scherzer thing was kind of where the tipping point was for me. It was either Verlander versus Scherzer. What was the better move? Scherzer's hasn't been the same. You can say the same thing about Verlander, but Verlander was great.
But he's back now. Verlander, he was hurt. Scherzer had the
back.
suspension too.
Verlander had a great July.
I like where Verlander's at, and now that he's going back to Houston, I expect him to produce. I really do. I expect to have a lot of good starts out of Verlander down in Houston, and he's comfortable there. I mean, I don't know if you look at it in hindsight, like if the Astros gave him $6 million more, they wouldn't have had to give up their top prospects. But then again, the Mets are also paying him most of his contract anyway. Yep. So it's a little give and take there. However you want to look at it, what you value more, the prospects or the financial side. The Astros could have just kept Justin Verlander, in my opinion, and kept those prospects. I know the Astros. They don't care about giving up prospects just because they're the Astros and they're in contention right now.
Right.
They're not. They don't need to bring up any more guys. They can go out and get anyone really. So and they have a good roster as well. I mean, that's why they won the World Series last year. So I like what the Astros did. I think they made a good move. For me in the NL, it's got to be the Marlins though.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. So let's do meat and potatoes. We're about to have some meat and potatoes at some point here. I'm hungry.
Starving.
We're in the ballpark, but we're gonna do the podcast first, obviously.
Taking BP behind us.
Yes, sir. Cocoa Crisp serving up some meatballs.
This is great.
Look at that. Look at that. This is really dope, man. This is awesome. This is going from baseball heaven in Cooperstown to this. It's really been a fun couple of weeks.
Yeah, man. Listen, we said we had some things in store, some cool episodes. I wanted to do this for a while, and I'm glad we were able to figure this one out, and we got it rolling. We got things going here, and look, we're here in Wilmington, man. We're our 22nd episode. How about that?
22.
And we're already down.
It's like Taylor Swift. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. I know you know that song. I know you know that song.
I'm not a Swiftie.
One of my favorite
like
Taylor Swift songs. That's one of my
I don't
favorite.
mind Taylor Swift. I can listen to some of the songs.
I go from hardcore metal to Taylor Swift to rap to Travis Scott's new album that I haven't listened to yet.
I'm an Ariana Grande guy.
I know you are.
More than a Taylor Swift guy. But.
I know you are. She's a good artist. I've heard she did a song with 2 Chainz a couple years ago. I really liked.
She did.
So, all right. So let's get to just the general talk. Obviously, winners and losers. We can just kind of go back and forth here. I'll give you. We don't even have to talk about this just because you already mentioned them. Obviously, one of my winners that wasn't talked about enough because they're the Marlins. But it's even if they're a division rival for us as Phillies fans. I think it's really great to see the Marlins going for it because they're a team that usually isn't in it by this point. The only reason why they were in it in 2020 was because of the shortened season, let's be real. But they're in it at this point, and they went out and they got some pieces. I don't know if they're going to be the playoffs. I don't know. I think they're going to be down to the wire. I still think the Phillies are a little better. Watch out for the Padres. Padres didn't really do much at the deadline. I don't know who else they got.
They got Rich Hill.
We got Barlow.
Rich Hill, yeah. Rich Hill.
Yeah, it's fine.
G-Man Choi.
Big boys got to produce. So Marlins, I mentioned. So I guess I'm going to mention two teams, and let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'm going to mention two teams that sold, because you can't just mention the teams that bought.
Okay.
The White Sox, I thought, did a really good job. They got rid of Giolito. I think for them, he wasn't ever going to be what they wanted him to be. I think they wanted him to be like an elite pitcher, and he had a really good season a couple of years ago. He threw that no-hitter in, I think, 2020. But for them, I don't think Giolito was really what they ever wanted him to be. Lance Lynn has been terrible the last couple of years, coming off an injury, I believe. 2021, he was great. So I think it was time for them to trade them away. And I believe in the Giolito trade, Lynn was the Dodgers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Lynn. Who else? They traded Berger as well.
Berger's gone.
And I believe they got back, from what I read, 4 top 10 caliber prospects. So you still have Luis Robert. You're still probably going to, try to build around him. I'm trying to think of, what's his face? Eloy Jimenez.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if they had a couple of other young players. Tim Anderson, I don't know what's going with Tim Anderson. He was not dealt at the deadline, right?
No, he was not.
He was not. And he finally hit his first home run like 3 days ago. So I thought the White Sox did a good job. I didn't think, I think it was time for them to sell. They made the postseason a couple of years ago, lost to the Astros in the divisional, and it's time for them to sell. They weren't ever going to win with this team. I had La Russa as the manager last year. It didn't work. So White Sox are my other one.
Okay, I like it. For me, I got to go with the Rangers. I thought the Rangers had a really good deadline. Losing DeGrom, yeah, that hurts. It definitely hurts. But they bring in a couple of deals. Austin Hedges from the Pirates, to catch. So I think that's a big move.
Defense.
Not great bat,
but that's okay. His defense is really good.
Defensive catcher. You bring in Max Scherzer to kind of shore it up. Rangers are going for it, man.
Did you say Montgomery too?
Yeah, Montgomery. I totally forgot Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like
they really made some moves.
They said DeGrom's hurt.
Yep.
I'm trying to think who else is hurt. Is someone else hurt there in the rotation? John Gray hurt. Somebody over there is hurt.
Yeah,
I forget. Besides DeGrom,
they made some moves at the deadline that I really like. Getting Scherzer, and I like that they're going for it. I think they're a talented enough team that they can go for it. They can bring in some more pitching. I think Scherzer. He accepted the trade down there. I think he's gonna start maybe blossom a little bit down the stretch here. Kind of struggled up in New York. I mean, New York's a mess. So, and I will say I was correct about the New York Mets implosion of a season. I didn't think they'd be this bad.
I can't disagree.
I didn't think they'd be this bad. I didn't predict they'd be this bad, but they've been pretty bad. But yeah, I think Texas. I think Texas really did a great job at the deadline, adding a catcher, adding Scherzer, and adding Montgomery. I think those are some good
Aroldis
moves.
Chapman.
Yeah,
Aroldis Chapman looks like Aroldis Chapman again.
Yeah, and they added him a couple of months ago. That was a little from KC, from the Kansas City Royals.
Good move for them.
Yeah, great move. I like what Texas is doing. They're a team to watch coming down the stretch here for sure.
Yeah, them and the Astros going to be a fun race for the finish. Really fun.
I will have to say I have an honorable mention as
Go ahead.
well.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Blue Jays. Paul DeJong.
Right.
Yeah, Paul DeJong as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is DeJong having a good year?
He's been okay. But they lost. Bo Bichette got hurt.
Right.
So you want to have some insurance, have a little bit of depth there. I like that move. So I got to give the Blue Jays credit. I mean, the AL East, man, it's tight. it's tight.
Tough, man.
So I like the Blue Jays adding some more depth to their team. So got to give them credit too.
Yeah. And my last winner, and you mentioned them while you were mentioning the Rangers there. I mean, I thought I didn't know. I thought the right thing for the New York Mets to do was to sell. I didn't think they were going to do it. And maybe it looks dumb because they have the highest payroll, and going into the year they're trying to win. And of course, we love what the Mets are doing right now as Phillies fans, as far as them having a losing season. But I think you got to give them credit. They had a great trade deadline.
Yeah,
they have balls to say, all right, they told Scherzer, hey, we're trying to actually not compete until 2024, 2025. They had the balls to tell him, here you are, you're going to Texas. Verlander, you're going to Houston. And yes, they have to pay that money. but I'm trying to think how much they've got like good. They got a good return as far as prospects go.
They got Acuna's brother.
Yeah, Luis, right? Yeah, so like
another Acuna in the NL East.
Yeah, they got rid of Eduardo Escobar, who was right. Goes to the Angels.
Tommy Pham to Arizona.
Right. Yeah, and they got good returns. So like, I got to give them credit. I'm always the one giving the Mets credit. I feel like, I was wrong about the Mets this year for sure. Watch the Mets go on a run now. But
listen, they're not going on a run.
They need Scherzer, and they need those egos out of there. Scherzer and Verlander.
There's nothing more that makes me happy. Sorry, Mr. Musico. It makes me happy seeing the Mets fail, blowing things up. I'm so ecstatic that they're doing that. They traded Scherzer. I said in the beginning of the year, signing 2 40-year-old pitchers is not going to guarantee you wins. It's not going to guarantee you wins. How many times do I have to talk to you about this? It's not going to guarantee you wins. I get they've been Cy Young winners in the past, but the injuries come, and that's what's happened this year. And they haven't been the only problem. They've had a lot more problems defensively, whatever. It wasn't going to work from the beginning. The Mets are not going to compete for at least 2 to 3 years. They
won the deadline. They won the deadline.
They didn't
win the
won.
Deadline. So I predicted a win.
They
for the Mets
lost
this year.
because they had to give up on their season when they spent all this money. That's a loss to me. The loss.
Yeah, but they in the face of adversity, they did what they had to do.
Give
with
me
the
a break.
deadline,
Stop defending the Mets. They stink. They choked on the year. They punted.
They did a good job at the deadline, right? They did
okay. They did okay. They got some prospects back, and you never know. Prospects cannot pan out, and we're here right now. Some will pan out, some won't.
Well, they had to get Scherzer and Verlander out of there. They knew what they were doing there. So, all right, give me some teams that will regret doing what they did at the deadline a year from now.
The Yankees should have did more. The Yankees should have done more.
Obviously.
Spencer Howard, are you kidding me?
Kenyon Middleton.
Yeah, they added another player at the deadline. I don't know, man.
I'm with you.
The Yankees, Brian Cashman has to do more, man. You're the Yankees. You're in a different spot than every other team in Major League Baseball. You're still in a competitive division. That's just where I'm at. I think the Yankees should have done way more, and they're going to regret it. They're going to regret it because they could have made a run. They got Judge back a little bit healthy. I don't know. They should have done more. They're the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you relying on Judge being your deadline piece to pick up now, and for him to hit 50 home runs in 2 months now? Like, I mean, I don't know. It was. I can understand a lot of Yankees fans were frustrated for sure, and I can totally understand it. So I'm with you on the Yankees. Now you got to hope that Stanton and Rizzo can carry you. Yeah, because they're not hitting well. So I mean, the other one for me, what was an interesting one was, I don't know, like the Guardians stood pat. They didn't really do much. So they got Noah Syndergaard. They got rid of Ahmed Rosario because I know they like one of the young players. I know they traded Aaron Savali, which was weird. I forget who they got back in that trade. It was a young hitter from Tampa Bay that they really like, and they're projecting him for 2024 to be kind of a piece for them from what I read. So I don't know. Like the Guardians were just weird. Like they're 2 games out from Minnesota, and Minnesota didn't do much either. So I don't know. Cleveland's usually a team that gets in and they'll make some noise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Cleveland was a weird one. Yankees are obviously in Cleveland.
They were kind of half sellers too. Like they were kind of sellers.
It didn't really make much sense.
I don't know.
Shout out to the Rays for making that move.
And they're not far out of that division. I believe at the deadline they were only 2 games out.
El Central 2 right now.
2 games out. Yeah, so they're still 2 games out at this point. So I don't know. They were kind of weird. I'm kind of with you. What sucks, another thing that I want to mention, it's kind of a loser. The Dodgers not getting Eduardo Rodriguez, him vetoing the trade.
Yeah, shout out to Eduardo, though, because, you don't see a lot of moves like that.
No.
Guy's won a World Series already before.
Yeah.
I believe. He's had some
Didn't want to go to LA.
He's had health issues, so... sometimes people don't take these things into account, the personal stuff. It's not, yes, of course it's about winning, but, they're still human beings at the end of the day. So I agree with you on the Eduardo one.
Yeah, I think, you're the Dodgers. You always want to – they didn't really do too much at this deadline.
Yeah, there's somebody that's –
it's kind of shocking. Usually they're all in on anybody.
Machado.
Yeah. So that was kind of shocking.
Turner and Scherzer, right?
That's what kind of made this deadline kind of was like, bleh, you know?
Yeah.
Like
The hell, Dodgers?
they didn't do much.
away.
The Yankees didn't do much. The market just wasn't as strong as years past. And I wonder if it has to do with the wild card.
I was going to say the same thing. Maybe it wasn't like this last year, but it was only 1 year. Now it's year 2. I agree, because teams think that they're in it now.
I think too many teams do.
We'll see in the future, but is it like the opposite effect, where you're not going to be seeing big guys go at the deadline? I don't know, man, because we like fun trade deadlines. We do as baseball fans. So, I mean, is it going to be in a couple of years? Is it going to be take your pick? Do you want the fun trade deadline, or do you want more playoff teams? I want more playoff teams, because this wouldn't have happened without it, okay? As long as we keep going to the World Series.
Went all the way up to the front of the camera.
Of course I did.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
It's just a shirt.
Bro, I know.
You have the same shirt.
I know. Do you? I don't have that shirt. I have the actual shirt. I have the white one.
The actual? This is dope too, though.
It's a good one. All
right, now you're trying to be official and stuff.
I know. I wanted the official stuff.
Lieutenant Nick Earnshaw.
Lieutenant Colonel Nick Earnshaw.
So you mentioned which teams did you mention here that will regret?
Yankees.
Okay, so I said the same thing with Guardians too.
Okay.
What about teams that? I'll go first here. Teams that will love from what they did from a year from now. We kind of mentioned this, and I won't elaborate on too much. Astros. I think it'll be worth it for them if they can try to make a World Series title run again, and if they get to the World Series and win it, of course it's going to be worth it. I'm saying with the Rangers, and I'll just go right there too. The Rangers. I think for them, their offense is so good. Seager's healthy right now. Seager just came back, I believe. Josh Young. I forget how to say it. Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia. Jonah Heim. They have a really, really good offense. And again, adding Montgomery, Scherzer, Chapman, I think that the Rangers are going for it. I think they have the roster to do it right now. Astros over there too, though. So I think Astros, Rangers, teams that will a year from now will say, hey, we made the right moves at the deadline.
Okay. I'm going to give a different perspective on this one from looking from a year from now.
Okay.
And it's not even me being a homer. I think the Phillies, because they didn't give up their farm. And I think that's really important here. Now they added
underrated point.
Lorenzen, and I think he's going to help them. He's really more of a rental. They made another minor move.
8 innings today, baby.
Yeah, trading Bailey Falter as well. But I think that the Phillies not giving up their farm, not giving up Painter, not giving up Abel, not giving up McGarry. I thought McGarry was gone. I thought he was as good as gone, because I thought he was probably your best prospect to trade at this point. He's your number 3 prospect. And I thought, you could probably trade McGarry and get some good value back, but they didn't. They only gave up 1 top 10 prospect, and they have Justin Crawford. They kept him as well. So they kept their young pieces, and they kept that core of their farm system. And the Phillies, we know in the past, when they gave up all their guys in the farm, they didn't win for 10 plus years. So I think it's very important to keep those young players. And usually you might think, Dombrowski will part ways with some of these guys, and he didn't. He stood pat. He made some minor moves. I think Lorenzen's a smart move. They're going to go to the 6-man rotation. But, I thought they were going to get a right-handed bat. They didn't. But I think keeping these guys going forward, because you have to remember, the core of the Phillies, they're all in their 30s now. How long is this going to last? How long is this run going to last with this team? And you have to think about that. You have to think about the future a little bit here too. And they kept Rojas, who's really you out in center field for the Phillies. They kept Johan Rojas. I thought that was important too, because now you got some young guys coming up, and you still have Alec Boehm, you still have Bryson Stott. But when these guys get older, like the Trey Turners, the JT Realmutos, the Harpers, you're going to need some young blood to come up and perform. And they kept those guys in the farm. So I think that's really, really important for the Phillies.
You become a smart guy, and I know I want to. I want to, because we work at WIP in Philly. For anybody that doesn't work out there is watching, we appreciate you watching, listening. That isn't from Philadelphia. We work at sports radio in Philadelphia, and the whole sentiment is like, a lot of fans say, screw the farm system. You're trying to win every year. What do the prospects really mean? So, why I hate that? So why I'm not going to curse because we don't curse on the podcast. Why the F do we draft then? What is the point of a farm system if you're just going to trade them all the way every year. There's a reason why the Braves are in contention every year. There's a reason why the Rays, for the most part, are in contention every year. There's a reason why the Dodgers are in contention every year. And no, they don't win the World Series every year, but a lot of teams don't. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to build dynasties. It was hard for even the Astros to win 2 World Series in the last however many years. I respect what the Braves do. I respect what the Dodgers do. I respect what the Rays do, especially the Braves. The Braves are smart. They know how to build up from the farm, have that core, and then get moves at the deadline or in the offseason, like a Donaldson on the Braves, who had a good year with the Braves. Rosario, who was NLCS World Series MVP, I believe. Soler hit a big, right? Jorge Soler. Adam Duvall, like, not sexy, huge names, but they know what they're doing. They're smart. They're scouting, everything. I love what you said, because, like, and this is like the Phillies fan coming out of me, but, like, I want the Phillies to, and I want this for every team, to look at the blueprint that those teams are the teams I mentioned with LA and Atlanta and Tampa Bay. That's an underrated thing to do. It's hard to win the World Series. And you know what? A lot of teams, a lot of times, just get lucky and get hot. Let's be real. The Phillies got caught lightning in the bottle. That's saying they didn't deserve it. Nationals 2019, like, come on, man. Like, sometimes you get hot at the right time. Sometimes it's just worth it. Maybe sometimes it's worth it. It's an underrated thing, not sexy to talk about. It's worth it not to go for it. Would I have been mad if the Phils tried to get a Randall Grichuk or a Pham or a Canna? Somebody like, you wouldn't have to give up too much for them. But I think you make a great point. So I just wanted to kind of ranted there, but
I like that they kept some of these young guys. Like, there wasn't anyone out there that you loved or you could get a good deal on, then keep them. Keep your prospects. You have some good prospects. The Phillies have kind of built up their farm system again a little bit here. So to just trade them away all of a sudden real quick after this core's over with Harper, Turner, Realmuto, Schwarber, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, you might be stuck again for another 10 years. So I think it was smart to stand pat. If you didn't get the deal you liked, and Dombrowski's a smart baseball guy, smart man, been in the game a long time, and that's what he did, and I respect it for him. I would have liked to see the Phillies add a little bit more, but, you got to think of the future as well here.
Yeah, and we'll see what Rodolfo Castro does, as long as he's not on his phone at third base.
Texting at third.
No,
I don't think anyone will be texting out here today.
Nah, I see.
What a beautiful ballpark, by the way.
Coco Crisp would not allow anybody to.
He would not.
He would not. So, yeah, beautiful ballpark here in Wilmington, Daniel S. Frawley Stadium.
Yes.
So, shout out to Kevin. I'm sorry.
Kevin Linton.
I didn't want to get his last name wrong, and that's your guy. So, but seriously, shout out to Kevin for letting us be here.
Liz Welch as well. GM
Welch. Liz Welch. Shout out to Liz for letting us do the show here. This is really, really cool. This is really fun for episode 22 to be here, of the shift to be here is really, really exciting. So, Nick, why don't we do the outro? You want to do the outro?
Yeah.
A little bit of minor league ball. I know you're a little more of a minor league guy than me,
man.
so you want to talk some minor league ball?
Yeah.
We'll just start with general. Give me some, like, top prospects you've been following this year, maybe that are playing in the Major League Baseball right now. I know who some of the guys are already going to mention, but give me some guys like a Jackson Holiday. How's Jackson? He's number one.
Jackson Holiday's
he's tearing it up, right?
Year. He's been tearing it up. He's still number one ranked prospect in baseball. The Orioles have a star on their hands. Have a star. He's moving through the ranks really quick, hitting the baseball well for contact, for a little bit of power here. Plays really good defense. I like what Jackson Holiday's been doing. Guy that started here in Wilmington this season. Came over. Now, I got a little story for you, Francisco. Last year, you remember the Juan Soto deal on deadline day with the Padres? I was here that day. I was calling a game. I was getting the news as it came in. Who's coming in? Robert Hassel III, James Wood.
Was Mackenzie Gore part of that deal?
Mackenzie Gore was also a part of that deal. C.J. Abrams as well.
Wow.
Part of that deal. Yeah, it was a big trade. So it was a big deal here in Wilmington when that trade happened. I didn't get to call any of his games last year. I got to see a little bit of Robert Hassel III. I believe he's up in Double-A now. He's one of the Nationals' top prospects, as the Wilmington Blue Rocks are a Nationals affiliate. James Wood has started his year here in Wilmington, tore it up. He's now in Double-A. Between those two teams, he's been unbelievable. He hits for power. He's a nice bat to have in your lineup, and he's really starting to come along. So he's the one guy I've really looked at this season, and you have to be excited about it if you're the Nationals, because there's not much to be excited about if you're a Nationals fan right now.
Not too much.
They won the World Series.
I kind of wanted Lane Thomas as a Phillies fan, not going to lie.
Couple years ago, they win the World Series, but now they've kind of replenished the farm system. And between the two teams this year, he's been really good. 293 in Wilmington, James Wood batted. So that got him up to Double-A. He's been cooled off a little bit from then, but he's an outfielder on the season. On base percentage here in Wilmington, 392, 580 slugging, 972 OPS.
Good.
You got to be excited. 44 hits, 8 home runs, 36 RBIs. This was all in 42 games. So James Wood is a prospect. I wanted to bring it back home to Wilmington that I'm so excited about. Jackson Holliday, another guy as well. But yeah, James Wood, get excited about him. He's going to be a name to watch.
Anybody in Wilmington here that you've been looking at besides? I know you looked at James Wood.
So there's a couple of guys still down here. Yasiel Antuna is an interesting prospect. He was a top 5 prospect, definitely a top 10 prospect.
What's his name? Yasiel Antuna.
Yasiel Antuna. Definitely a name to watch. He's struggled a little bit in his couple of years here in the system. He's an international signee, I believe. So when we're watching the game tonight, player to watch, Yasiel Antuna. They've tried him in the outfield. He's tried at shortstop. Struggles defensively, but like when he gets the bat rolling, this is a guy you want to watch for coming up. Yasiel Antuna, he's fallen out of the top 30. If he can get back into the top 30 maybe next year, I think he's a prospect to watch for.
Okay. Anybody else? Is Yasiel Antuna, anybody else here to watch?
So I do have a couple more names. So 3 guys that we're going to see here in Wilmington that are still on the roster as we speak, doing the shift right now. Jeremy De La Rosa, Jake Bennett, and TJ White, all on the Wilmington Blue Rocks this year. They're the 3 of the top 10 prospects in the national system. 3 guys to keep an eye on.
All right, I'm excited for that. Excited to watch some good baseball here tonight as they play the Hudson Valley. What is their name?
Renegades.
Renegades, just like Jay-Z and Eminem. Yes, Renegades. So yeah, we're really excited, man. We're really excited here. Anybody else? So is Ellie De La Cruz still a prospect technically, or no?
I mean,
because that's all I want to know. Because Gavin Williams is another name I looked at.
Yeah,
he's been really good with Cleveland this year. He's one of the top prospects. I'm trying to think of. I was on my laptop. Who else? Jordan Lawler for the D-backs. Anybody else you could tell me at the top?
Junior
right
Caminero,
now?
another name.
Okay,
he's another name to keep an eye on. If you're a guy into prospects, looking at guys coming up, Tampa Bay Rays. They just field prospects. They do a great job in their farm system. He's a third baseman. He was ranked 70 in the top 100 list. He's 19 years old, already in Double-A. So. A guy to watch in Tampa Bay system for sure.
And just one more that I kind of cried a little bit when I saw his name in the top 10 prospects list because, as I'm wearing this shirt, I was hoping he'd be a part of the World Series team this year. Andrew Painter, who will not be here.
No.
For the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And we wish him the best, obviously, as Phillies fans. But the guy was pretty much the top pitching prospect in baseball. And it sucks to be doing the show. I mean, doesn't suck to do the show here.
Yeah.
But obviously it's awesome. But it sucks that we don't get to talk about him. Possibly having some major league starts under his belt.
Could have been the Ellie De La Cruz of the pitching.
Imagine
world
that.
This year, the young.
I was ready to get a Painter jersey.
I know.
Or a jersey.
I didn't get to call any of Painter starts last year down here, but I did get to call Mick Abel and Griff McGarry. So they were down in Single A for a while last year. I love Mick Abel, man. I'm so glad they kept him. You have no idea how much that means to me, dude. If he can get his command right and control those breaking pitches, oh man, he's got some nasty stuff, dude. Those secondary pitches from Mick Abel. Definitely something to watch.
Yeah, Abel and did Griff McGarry just win? I don't want to go off too much of a Phillies tangent, but real quick, Griff McGarry, I think, won. I thought I saw Matt Gelb retweet it. I'm gonna pull it up here. I saw you somewhere.
He won an award. Did he win
Yeah, he won he won pitcher of the month
something
or whatever,
like
wherever
he's.
You're
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
The past
real quick.
couple months or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Griff McGarry. We love to see that as Phillies fans.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look at. I just want to look at a few more. Any Marcelo Meyer. Can't
Another
tell me
guy.
anything
Yeah,
right
he's
now?
been okay.
I know
this
I'm putting you
year.
on the spot.
Yeah,
but
he's been okay this year from what I've read. Was he Boston?
yes.
Yeah, he was Boston. So I haven't kept too much tabs on him, but he's another guy that's been in the top 100 for a little bit now. And I know Boston, they've kind of shocked some people this year a little bit. So
Somebody else that hasn't been that great this year, I don't think. Tamar Johnson. I don't think for
think he's been that
Pittsburgh,
great,
'cause I
yeah.
think he was number 1 pick, but I could be wrong. Tamar Johnson, Logan O'Happy has been good when he's healthy. When healthy, he's been good for the Angels.
Just came back a little while ago.
29th ranked. Yeah.
So he's traded him to the Angels. He's gonna be a really good catcher, man.
You know who else I'm excited? Jason Dominguez in there. He's 40th.
The Martian, man.
Yeah.
He's had a down. He's had a down year this year, I believe. At the dish, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hype about Jason Dominguez. A lot of hype about Jason Dominguez. The Martian, the nickname, he's gotten it. Saw him a little bit. He played for the Hudson Valley team we're going to see tonight before. So I think he's up in Double-A, if I'm not mistaken now. So I think he's had a little bit of a down year. But that happens. This is why they're developing. I mean, you can't just go straight to the majors in baseball. It's not like football. It's not like basketball.
Right.
You're gonna go down in the farm for a little while, and when you're ready, you'll get called up.
Right, and now one more name I'm going to bring up to you because I want to know your thoughts on him. I haven't really looked at his numbers this year, but I can actually look at it right now. AAA right now, Mason Wynn. I mean, the guy throws like 300 miles per hour over from the shortstop position. I'm excited to see what this kid's going to do. It says this 2023 with Memphis AAA, 278, 351, 458 slugging, 809 OPS.
Yeah.
Good numbers. 16 homers, 16 stolen bases.
Let him develop.
Yeah, of course. I'm just, hey man, I want to see these guys get up to the.
You're not going to get Ellie De La Cruz's all the time.
Here we go.
I'm just saying.
He's always got to come back to
future
Ellie.
rookie of the year.
Always got to come back to Ellie. Not future. He got a little cold.
So did Corbin.
All right, relax. But I thought he was going to get hot and take it off. Now he's definitely not going to win it. And then what? Last one. I know I keep saying last one. Last one because I just saw his name. Drew Jones.
Drew Jones.
He is the 13th ranked
in the top 100, right?
Yes, and I want to see him come up obviously because he's freaking.
Well, we've seen Colton Cowser come up.
Oh, he's been horrible this year. 182, 297.
Colton Cowser came up for Baltimore Orioles.
Yes.
So he's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, but he's picked it up as of late. Orioles are stacked, man. Orioles are stacked.
They are. They had a chance to get a Verlander, but Verlander wanted to go to the Astros.
Yeah.
So how much is that really their fault?
Yeah.
I don't know. But all right, let's end the show, Nick.
Yep.
Let's talk about Wilmington Blue Rocks. As far as some names that came through here, shout out to Kevin Linton.
Yep.
Right? Look at that. I emphasize the name. Shout out to Kevin again for letting us do this here. And he kind of mentioned some names to us. We saw a Johnny Damon jersey in there. I read John Lieber pitched here.
Yes, he did.
Carlos Beltran played here.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot. I mean, so the Blue Rocks, they were the Royals affiliate for a while.
Phillies too?
A while. So Bobby Witt, I believe, also played here as well. Another name, a little younger name, but they were also the Red Sox affiliate for a couple of years. And now they're the Nationals. Now they're part of the Nationals organization. Damon is a guy that sticks out to me, man. Definitely a guy that sticks out. We saw going through the bearings of Daniel S. Frawley Stadium. Right. We saw a lot of autographs from him. But you kind of mentioned the top names, man. They absolutely great.
Oh, one I didn't mention. The Moose. The real Moose. Mike Moustakas.
I was waiting for it.
Actually, Mike Moustakas is the real Moose, okay?
Waiting for it.
I don't care if Jorge Earnshaw was here 100 years ago. Well, that's actually disrespectful. I don't mean it like that. I do care.
He was in Baltimore system. He was in Baltimore. The real Moose, George Earnshaw, he was in the Baltimore system.
Really? That's wild because the real Moose was in Baltimore's major league team. That's crazy. Mike Moose. But Mike Moustakas did play here.
Yes.
It's another one. I think is he with the Rockies or the Angels now?
Yeah, I think so.
He's
been all over now.
He's been all over because he's not good anymore. Let's be real.
I believe Salvador was here. If I'm not mistaken, Perez. I think Salvador Perez was here too.
I wrote down a few more names.
Yep, Salvador Perez, I think, was one.
Where was the name? Beltran Sweeney. Mike Sweeney.
Mike Sweeney, that's right.
I mean, you're probably a little too young.
I remember Mike Sweeney. You
know the name. I'm a little too young, nah?
Yeah, I remember seeing it here, studying my history of the Rocks.
Eric Hosmer,
yeah. I mean, most of that World Series team in the Royals came through here, yeah.
Right. Danny Duffy.
Yep.
Jacoby Ellsbury.
That's right. Was that with Boston? Is that why?
Yeah.
Yes, that would have
was
been
the
when
team
they
came
had
up
the
with.
short time with Boston they were affiliated
Yeah,
with.
shout out to Coco Crisp, former teammate, right?
Coco Crisp.
I think former teammate Coco Crisp,
Yeah.
Bill Aylesbury,
Yeah,
or
at the
maybe
same
Coco
time.
Crisp before. I don't know, because it's
Something like
center
that.
field though.
Something like that.
And then last one I have to mention here, future Hall of Famer possibly, Zach Greinke.
Yes.
Also did.
Yes.
So there have been some pretty incredible names, and now you add Nick Earnshaw to that list as well, the son of one of the mooses.
The OG moose.
Is that a moose? The Blue Rock is a Blue Rock a moose?
Yeah, I think it is.
You never think about that?
I never even thought about that.
It's a moose. I wish we could like turn around. I don't feel like doing all that. But-
you could look at the graphic we put up.
We'll put it up on the screen. What time? It's like okay, I just remember the song. All right. Anyway, so yeah, the moose, and moose is everywhere.
The Rocks here in Wilmington.
Yes, we are. So any other names that we can think of before we
That's
go?
all I got off the top of my head. Yeah.
We're probably gonna forget some. There's probably gonna be Robin Roberts. I thought.
Yeah, Robert Robertson.
Yeah, when
played,
they were the affiliate.
back
Phillies
in the
affiliate.
way back. Yeah.
Yeah, way back before we were,
Yep.
when the Moose was around. So shout out to the Moose, George Earnshaw. Shout out to Kevin Linton, Liz Welsh. Look at me, I'm getting names right everywhere.
You are.
I'm just
You're meeting
getting
everyone
better.
today.
I'm just meeting everybody. It's exciting. It's really a homecoming for him here at Wilmington. So this has been episode 22 of The Shift. I know you did the intro, Nick. You do the outro since this is your home. You do it. Go ahead.
I'll take us out, Francisco. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to the Blue Rocks. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Liz for allowing us to do our show here. I'm sure we'll be back at some point next season, too. I think we have a good relationship with the Blue Rocks here, so we'll be back. I can guarantee it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to The Shift. We're out here from Daniel S. Frawley Stadium. Boom.